This is Public Report, a public affairs presentation of KTVW. The opinions expressed in this program does not necessarily reflect the views of the Trinity Broadcasting Network.
Hi, welcome to Public Report. I'm Tanny Jackson, and today we're talking about youth, young adults with disabilities. And I read a quote today. It said, disability is not inability. I like that. So we're going to open today with my guest, Doris Green. You are a parent of a child with a disability.
Yes.
And Dorothy and Mac Edwards. Welcome.
Yes. All right. Good to be here.
I'm glad to have you. And Dorothy, you are a paraprofessional.
Yes.
What is that?
A paraprofessional is a person who works in the school district with the teachers. We assist the teachers in our profession. And I'm working in the Federal Way School District in the Employment Transition Program, where we are working with children with disabilities. They've graduated high school, and now we help to transition them out into society.
They're all over 18 years old?
Yes.
What's the oldest?
The oldest, they go up until the age of 21. And, that's what we work with them from the age of 18 to 21, or the time that they graduated high school. And then they come over to the program, and we do all sorts of different trainings for them to get them out into society, to be able to function and be able to have a job, a paid job.
Okay. What are some of the disabilities?
There's various types of disabilities that we work with. It's not all, some people think that disabilities is like having mental, and it's not about that. There's people that have physical disabilities. There's, they're not able to walk, or sometimes they're in wheelchairs, or sometimes they're not able to feed themselves. But that's not all that a disability is involved with. Sometimes a person has a disability where they're maybe, as far as their thinking goes, they may be a little bit delayed in thinking about an answer, or they may, there's just different types of disabilities that are out there.
So basically the disability is not considered a mental disability?
No, not at all. Most of the time, like I said, people, they quite naturally, when some disabilities, you never know a person even has them until maybe they start speaking, or maybe they start walking. And, sometimes it's not all about a mental or a thinking disability. It's sometimes in a physical, or sometimes it's been a highly emotional thing that they've gone through in their lifetime that has caused them to, maybe people think, not function normally. But I have to ask the question, what is normal? Because many of the people, they go through different things in their lives that causes them to, maybe not respond the way that society thinks they should. And working with them, I love it because we get a chance to bring that out in a person. That's what I love about working with people with disabilities. Sometimes they kind of hide within themselves, but when you can work with them, you can actually see them come out of themselves. And they love it too. It's just something to see when you're working with someone with a disability. Sometimes they're pushed back and they're pushed to the side.
Why is that?
Well, because a lot of people don't understand. They don't really know what to say. Some people are very uncomfortable with being around people who they think is not normal.
Okay.
Yes.
And your son is also disabled?
Yes.
Your son as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Cerebral palsy is mine.
Yes.
My son. CP. Total care.
Yeah.
I do everything.
So you're the caretaker?
Yes.
And how is that for you?
You know, it's a job, but I love it because it's something that was blessed with me. He was given to me. And love is the key, really.
Yes.
These kids really need to be loved, just like everybody else. So that's the gift that has been given to me through my son, is the fact that I'm honored to be able to be there and be the person for him, because I have to think for him. I have to do everything. So I'm dealing with two people, myself, as well as making sure he's getting the best of the best. So I really appreciate it, and I'm very thankful. If I had to do it all over again,
You would.
I would.
And you're a single parent.
I raised Carlos up until he was about 11 years old.
Okay.
And then his biological father passed away. And then I had the responsibility again of being a single parent. And then I met someone who came along and did pretty much like you did.
Yeah.
Came into my life, loved my son dearly. And well, I'm single now because of something that happened in my marriage that ended up destroying a great relationship. But it's all being restored again, so I'm happy about that.
But there are challenges,
It's
though.
yes, I
both
miss
parts.
the person, that extra hand being there helping me. Oh, I miss that.
Yes.
Now I have to do it all myself. And so Carlos, like I say, he's total care. I have to feed him. I have to bathe him. I have to change him. I have to do everything. If it were not for me, he wouldn't have nobody.
How old is Carlos?
33.
Yeah.
And he spoke for the first time 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yes.
I got to tell this testimony. I was telling my husband at the time, we were still together, and he was ill. And I said, you're going to be healed, because he was sick. Well, anyway, make a long story short, Carlos was the one got the healing. He spoke a complete sentence. I was
I'm sure you
asking
were
a
excited.
question, and he says, I don't know. And I jumped up and I said, did you hear that?
Yeah.
He spoke crystal clear. He's never spoken a day in his life, so I was so amazed.
And I can see you have treasured that moment.
Yes.
He's talking now.
Okay.
You really can hear a voice in there.
Okay.
You just got to get very close and let them speak. They are very intelligent
Yes.
people,
Yes.
and they deserve the proper respect and love, just like everybody else.
I agree. And how old is your son?
He just turned 40,
40.
in August. And I went through some similar situations with him, because during the time he'd gotten diabetes at the age of 9, juvenile diabetes, and that was in the early 80s.
What were the symptoms?
Well, some of the symptoms, I really did not know what was going on. He got really quiet, and he was a very active child. And then he would pull away. He cried, and he slept a lot, and then he went to the restroom a lot. And I knew something was wrong, because even in school, sometimes he would sit and he'd just stare into the air, and there was nothing. And I talked to him, and he didn't hear me. I knew something was clearly wrong, but I did not know what was going on until I took him to the hospital. And that's when they diagnosed him in Cheyenne, Wyoming, because that's where I'm from, with diabetes. And I knew nothing about it, and they were doing research. They knew nothing about diabetes at the time either. And so they told me one of the challenges that I went through with that was the doctor told me that, because it all happened all at one time. It was like boom, boom, boom. He told me that in order for him to survive, I was going to have to give him shots twice a day. And they were training me on how to do it with an orange. They showed me how to do an orange. And the first time I did an orange, I fainted. Because I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to do this. And when he said, if you don't do this, your son could die. And when he told me that, that's when the strength began to come for me. That's when I began to realize it's up to me as his mother for him to survive.
Yes.
When your son,
Andre.
when Andre realized what was going on, what was his response?
He didn't know how to deal with it. He didn't know how to handle it. I had to learn how to just take it in stride and just be just as calm and just talk to him and let him know, excuse me, you are somebody. you know what, and we're going to work through this, and I'm going to be there. I'm your mom. I'm going to see to it that everything works out for you. If you need me, I'm going to be available for you. And so it was one thing to say it, but it was another thing to begin to start doing that for him.
Okay. What would you tell a parent, Doris, who has just found out their child has disabilities?
Love them.
That's good.
Unconditionally. Just like
Unconditionally.
you would love any other child that you give birth to. That child is a special child, and he's going to show some amazing things. It brings joy to your life. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I'm very happy knowing that I have a responsible person, and it gives me joy to be able to give back to him, because giving is the key.
Okay.
Yes.
Am I right or am I wrong?
What would you tell a mother right now, just to encourage a mother and father right now in closing?
I would tell them, you stay with, just be with your child. Get to know your child and listen to your child, and just love them and cherish every moment with them, because you never know. And you get to learn so much from them, because it's like they reteach you all over again to love, how things are created, how things are. And so my thing with telling a parent that has that is just be with your child, love your child, encourage your child the best that you can.
Yes.
Let them know, respect them, and let them know that they are somebody, and that they have a lot to give, and that they can learn, and that they're able to do whatever they want to do. They could be whatever they want to be.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I've enjoyed having all three of you here today. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for joining me on Public Report. Till next time. That's awesome, I think.
You've been watching Public Report, a public affairs presentation of KTBW. The opinions expressed in this program does not necessarily reflect the views of the Trinity Broadcasting Network.